My name is Luke. Sit back and let me take you through every single solo Call of Duty Zombies world record. Of course, we have to start where it all began with Nocturne Toten on World at War. In 2018, the world record stood around 1,276, and now it is around 2019 by Abu Sharif. Verrückt on World at War, arguably one of the hardest zombies maps ever created, and in 2018 this record was around 809, but in 2020 this has been pushed all the way up to around 1400 by Slowfiend 935. So we make our way to Shino Numa on World at War, the map with the highest round in Zombies history, and in 2018 the highest round was around 9,072 by Instakiller, and in the time since then it has still not changed. However, recently there has been a strategy change to this map where instead of using the Flogger Trap constantly, you only use the Wonder Waff, and this could theoretically push the world record up to around 11 or 12,000 in the future. For our last World at War map, we have Der Riese. In 2018, the highest round on this map was around 142, and as of today in 2020, it now stands around 148 by Krups. You may notice that this is significantly lower than any of the other maps, and that is because World at War Der Riese is the only World at War map with more than 24 zombies per round. Now we move into Black Ops 1, where many of you started your zombies adventure, and once again we will be going in order of the release of the maps. Obviously there's no better place to begin with that than Kino der Toten. Back in 2018, this record was set at 227 rounds and has been pushed all the way up since then to round 236 by Magic Lobox. Next up is everyone's favorite Pentagon theme map, that being 5. The old record in 2018 was round 216, and now it sits at a massive round 229 by Yezi. Most of the reason for this map being pushed up as much as it has is due to a slightly faster version of the spawn room trap strategy that's standard on 5 high rounds and has been for a few years. And now, since these maps did actually come with the hardened version of Black Ops 1 at launch, we will move into the World at War remastered maps before we go to the DLC maps. Starting those off, we have Black Ops 1 Knock, where the record 3 years ago was around 144 by Capino, and in the time since then it has been tied by Private Kickass, but it has not been beaten. Our next map is Black Ops 1 Verrückt. The record as of 2018 was 192 rounds and stands at round 206 in 2020 by Furret. That's a name you're going to be hearing a lot in the next few maps, so be prepared for that one. Next up we have Black Ops 1 Shino Numa. The world record is and was around 202 by Your Adopted. This is actually the longest standing Zombies world record, with this game being played in March of 2015. And what's funny is that this map actually has the potential to be pushed as high as round 230 to round 235, but no world record player actually wants to go and take that record because, according to them, it's a boring strategy even for them. For the last of our World at War remakes, we have Black Ops 1 Der Riese, which 3 years ago had a world record of round 227 and has been pushed all the way up to round 246 by Fleur. We can finally move into the DLC maps now. I know those were DLC maps, but it's all the same. But we're going to be getting with Ascension. The world record on here 3 years ago was round 221, and now it is round 240 by Furret. I told you you were going to hear that name again, and you will once more. Moving on from there, we get to talk about Call of the Dead, where the highest round in 2018 was round 87 by Oxygen. Just last week actually, Oxygen pushed up the world record up to round 91 after Mac and Rules had briefly snatched it away from him a few months prior. Our next map is Shangri-La, everybody's favorite Mars map, and yes, it's actually on Mars. I will fight anyone that says otherwise. But the record on here 3 years ago stood at 193 rounds, and now it is 194 rounds by II. For the last Zombies map on Black Ops 1, we have Moon, where in our original video the record stood at round 208, and now in the awful year of 2020, the record stands around 222 by once again Furret. I'm excited now because I finally get to talk about my favorite game, Black Ops 2. It stinks that we're going to have to start off with Transit, but I promise you it'll get better, and let's try to power through this, gamers. As I mentioned, we're going to be starting with Transit. 3 years ago, the record stood at 146 rounds, and since then it has been pushed up to 149 rounds by Figsu. From here we can move into the green run survival maps, beginning with Bus Depot. In the 3 years since my last video, the record has not moved. It stands at round 82 by Figsu, and I would love to see this record get pushed up in the future if someone wanted to sit down and really grind it out. Next we get to talk about Town, where the highest round used to be round 94 in 2018, and through a lot of dedication and time put into this map by a lot of players around the community, it has been pushed up to round 100 by Chris Voltage. And for the last of our green run survival maps, we have Farm. The old world record was round 93 and now stands at round 96 by once again Chris Voltage. That's a name that you're going to be hearing once again. And for the last time, no shocker, here once again as we move into Nuketown. 3 years ago the record stood around 96 and now stands at round 100 by guess who? Chris Voltage. And what's interesting is that Chris Voltage actually died in his round 100 game on Nuketown, and with a new advantageous strategy called Fast Ray Gun, this map could actually be pushed up quite a lot in the future. If you want to learn what Fast Ray Gun is, link in the description down below, go check out the video. Okay, so now I'm really happy because this next entry I get to talk about Die Rise. I'm not a huge fan of the map, but the world record holder I'm a huge fan of. First things first, the old world record was round 124 and now it stands at round 131 by Tidy Barbecue. I love you, Tidy. This entry is another brand new world record. I'm talking about the map Mob of the Dead, where 3 years ago the record stood at a tied round 223 and it has now been jumped up all the way to round 233 by Stealth McFilthy. He was able to push this record up using a new strategy where you open the cafeteria door and kill zombies coming from the top of the staircase while having the acid trap on below you in the cafeteria. On Buried, the world record used to be around 196 in 2018, and now it has been absolutely skyrocketed all the way up to round 233 by Wonderful. The reason that this map has been pushed up so much is because of a Black Ops 2 PC version of the game called Redacted, where it doesn't actually error you in the same way the console does and you have a much longer time to play the game. And oh boy, we get to talk about Tidy Barbecue once again, but first we have to talk about the map itself being Origins. Back during our first video, the highest round was 148, and now it has been pushed up to round 150 by Tidy Barbecue, who's my freaking dad. And for this map being one that is probably the most played of all time and is a fairly quick world record being 25 hours, this record has been fairly uncontested in the last few years. For a Tidy Barbecue having a round 148 and then having a round 150, no one in the 3 years since has had even a round 149. But interestingly enough, Tidy Barbecue himself says that this map is not actually maxed out and can go to round 151. Moving into Black Ops 3, if you know anything about high rounds for this game, then you know that the highest round that you can achieve is round 255. Once you get there, it is an infinite round, so most maps have a lot of ties for the world record. Because of this, for certain maps I'll be mentioning the fastest person to get there, and some of them I'll just be randomly picking out of the pool of people that did achieve that round. These players were also not allowed to use round robin, power vacuum, flavor hexed, or near death experience. With all that being said, let's begin. So where better to begin than with the greatest launch map in zombies history, that being Shadows of Evil. At the time of our last video, the world record was round 231 and it has now been turned into a round 255 by DeSantis 101. Next on the chopping block is the Giant, where the world record in 2018 was round 255, and obviously that's still the case today. The fastest time that I could find was by Vackle. In our last video, I accidentally looped our Eisendrach during an editing error and got memed, but the world record was around 213 at the time, and no shocker, it has been pushed all the way up to round 255 by Ashy. Oh boy, now we get to talk about the map featuring Shrek. Zetsubo no Shima 3 years ago had a world record of round 229, and now just like most Black Ops 3 maps, it is a round 255 world record by KXG124. Now we get to talk about one of the few maps without a round 255, and that is Gorod Krovi, where the record is round 173 years ago, and now it is round 228 by Dad Won't Hug Me. Holy crap, here comes Revelations, where the world record during our last video was round 255, and no surprise, it stayed there since then. But since then, over 25 people now have a round 255 on this map, and one of them being Mark Van Leerdam. Moving into the Zombies Chronicles maps, we start with Nocturne and Toten, where the record 3 years ago was round 165, and now it's been pushed up to round 215 by Fantasy in the longest Zombies game in history at 211 hours. This one is now a very fresh world record, that being Verruck. During our first video, the record was at round 130, and now it's been absolutely demolished by Buzzardly, who reached round 255 a few days ago, almost doubling the world record before his game. Keeping this train rolling, we have Shino Numo, where we did our old world record and it was at round 172, and now it's been pushed up to round 174 by Winchester. I was actually expecting a larger jump, but this is a pretty difficult map to be fair. And here's another cool round for you guys actually. Here we have Kino der Toten, where the old record was round 188 and now it's been pushed up to, guess what, round 255. And the fastest time here was a person named Sniper Cat, who's a really unknown player in the community, so it's cool to see small people like him play really well. So Ascension is another map where about 1 million people have a round 255 nowadays, and even back 3 years ago the record was still round 255. But the person that I chose to highlight here is I'm Overcharged, because he did it without Juggernog as well. Moving into our Mars map again, Shangri-La. The record 3 years ago was round 153, and now it's been pushed up quite a lot to round 205 by KXG124. We're almost done with Black Ops 3. I know that there's a lot of maps on this game, but our second to last one that we're going to be covering for this is Moon, where the old world record 3 years ago was round 212, and now just like most maps, it has been pushed up to round 255 by KXG124. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Origins for Black Ops 3. Back a few years ago, the record was round 221 by Mark van Leerdam. From there, he pushed up his own record to round 255, and that stood uncontested until recently when KXG124 tied his round 255, but Mark did still play a few hours quicker. Before we can begin Black Ops 4, I need to make a little note. On this game, you can go past round 255, but the round counter starts over again from round 0. That means that round 256 shows in game as round 0, round 257 shows as round 1, and so on. So keep that in mind when you see some of the footage today. Black Ops 4 was also not released when I made my last video, so we'll just be covering the current records. Starting off Black Ops 4, we have one of the most underappreciated maps of all time, that being 9. The world record currently stands at round 208 by Sukabi. And honestly, I love this map, man, but I can't get past round 80 on it by myself, so kudos to you, bro. Classified is an interesting map because in world record games you are not allowed to use the shield exploit that most people did for the round 150 Easter egg, so players need to run the electric trap strategy. The current world record is round 255 by Ashy. Blood of the Dead, oh boy, this map could have been so good. Anyway though, this map has the highest round in all of Black Ops 4 Zombies with a current world record of round 378 by Daybreak. His record also has stood for quite a while now, so fingers crossed someone grinds out for around 400 soon. Another disappointment of a map now, that being Voyage of Despair. How they managed to make a zombies map on the freaking Titanic boring is beyond me, but aside that, let's get to business. The current world record is round 205 by Ruro. Alright, well, you can't say Dead of the Night isn't a beautiful map, and you definitely can't say it isn't broken. For those unfamiliar, you can essentially have unlimited ammo in this map by buying silver bullets over and over and over again while spamming the Helion salvo at the ground. The current world record is round 346 by PhD Mex Morer. Oh god, thankfully we get to talk about my favorite map of all time, Ancient Evil. If you haven't tried it, I would give it the highest recommendation I possibly could. But the highest round on this map currently stands at around 310 by Emla KSA. Now for the remake that never should have been, Alpha Omega could have been a really cool map, and it makes me sad that it wasn't, but we press on anyway, and the highest round on this map is round 209 by Intuit Scod. These players were also not allowed to use the round 200 Easter egg, by the way. Now I know I've used this transition already, but last but certainly not least, we have the final of the Aether storyline, that being Tag der Toten. F in the chat for our beloved crew fam, but this map's highest round weighs in at about 47 Nocturne Totens, and if you translate that to English, that means round 356 by Intuit Scott. Now we have every other maps, games, and records to cover. Those games are Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and World War II. I ran a poll on the channel a few days ago and you guys voted on them being mentioned briefly, so here they are. Most of the records on Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare have not moved in the last few years at all. World War II has had a few records broken recently, but nothing groundbreaking, but I just wanted to make sure that every record was at least mentioned in some sort of way. This will be the end of the video though. I really do appreciate all of you guys watching all the way through. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're really close to 70,000 subs. Make sure to drop a like and comment which is your favorite map of all time. I would really appreciate if you guys could do any of that stuff. Also, make sure to join our community Discord in the links in the description below. All the players will also be down there as well. Every single one of them will be linked, so make sure to go and check them out too. With that being said, Black Ops 5 reveals right around the corner. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully Black Ops 5 has some great zombies. All of you guys, peace.